I want to talk about how to take photographs using the Lightroom mobile app. So I've got it open here on my iPhone, and when you open it up first, it's going to open up actually into the library. One brief thing to know is that when you shoot photos in Lightroom, it does not automatically send those photos to the camera roll on your phone. It keeps them separate in a little iPhone Lightroom library. We can talk about that later. But right now, I'm just looking at photos I've taken with Lightroom. It happens to be a bunch of pictures of pretty flowers that my brother grows, because he grows nice flowers. Good job, brother. I want to take some pictures. We're going to use the little blue button down in the bottom right corner that looks like a camera. I'm going to touch that, and look, I've got a camera. What's going on right now is that the Lightroom software is accessing the camera on the phone. Here's some steps I'd like you to take once you've got Lightroom open. The first thing we're going to do is down here at the bottom, it says auto, and we're going to change it to professional. Honestly, this is like the biggest difference from your regular phone app, is all of a sudden you've got a lot more control over the details of how the camera is working. Another thing that I'd like you to do is to add a grid and a level. In the upper right hand corner, there are three little dots. I'm going to tap those dots, and we get some more tools, and one of them is a grid, and I'm going to tap the grid. And notice there are two things over on the left. I've got grids. I'm going to add this grid here that's like in thirds. Why? Because you can use the rule of thirds, or it prompts you to use the rule of thirds. The other thing I'm going to add here is over on the right hand, there's a little boxy thing. That's a level. I'm going to tap that. That adds a level. Now, when I'm looking through my camera, it's automatically divided in thirds in both directions. It also has, notice when I tilt it, it's got that little thing that goes up and down that tells me if I'm holding the camera up straight, and when I tilt left and right, it skews. This gives you feedback on whether you are holding your camera square, whether you're looking straight ahead. It doesn't mean that you should never look at an angle. Maybe that's a great thing to do, but it lets you know if you're doing that. It also, when you're holding your camera, you'll feel this little clunk when it comes right into level, which is helpful. Another thing you really want to do is turn off the flash. So in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little flash icon, little lightning. I'm going to tap the lightning, and I'm going to turn this off. You don't want the flash jumping in there and giving you really harsh, ugly light. One optional thing, and again, this is totally optional. In the upper right-hand corner, upper center, right on my camera, it's saying DNG. That means digital negative. I'm going to tap this and show you can flip this back and forth between DNG and JPEG. And basically this is like, what is Lightroom going to save when you push the shutter? Is it going to save a JPEG, which most of us are used to using? They're great, they're portable. They're also compressed files. They've actually had a certain amount of the information stripped out of them. That's a whole nother topic. If you want to, you can flip this to DNG. Digital negative is basically a raw file. It is absolutely all of the information, all of the light that has come into your camera when you hit the shutter, and it gives you a little more flexibility when you're editing. But it also is a bigger file, so if you're short on space, don't do that. But if you haven't tried it before, try it out, and you may find some differences when you go to sit down to edit the photos. Down here, we're not going to play with it right now, but you can see you can change, you can sort of nudge the exposure a little brighter or a little darker. You can set the shutter speed, right? Right now it's set to auto, but you could be like, I would like a really high shutter speed, a really low shutter speed. You can fool around with that. I'm going to leave it at auto. You can set the ISO, you can set the white balance. There are a bunch of other tools here, but I think that's a great place to start. One last little thing to notice is, okay, do you see right down in the corner, there's like this little zebra thing. I'm going to look at, if I go over and look at the window, it's like, whoa, it's all zebra thing. And one thing that Lightroom does that I think is really helpful is it tells you if there's a part of your image that is overexposed. Digital cameras and film cameras are kind of the opposite this way. The biggest problem with a film camera is not getting enough light. You don't get any information on the negative. With a digital camera, it's the opposite. If you get too much light, it saturates the sensor, which is to say it's kind of like too much light in your eye and you're just blinded and you're like, I got nothing. If I look over at my window, this area right here that's all painted zebra, if we take that photo and look at it, there's going to be nothing there. Now, I'm looking out and I can see a tree and I can see my neighbor's chimney, but right now, because the camera is trying to expose and get the inside of the room as well as the outside, there's nothing there. So it is nice that Lightroom tells you when stuff is blown out, and then you can make changes to adapt to that. Again, topic for another day, but it's one good piece of information you get from Lightroom. Okay, go out and shoot with Lightroom.